These intros never come natural to me. I don't know why. But hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Hi, hello. My name is Mia and welcome to Child of Luna's tarot channel. I'm not really sure why I add tarot in there, but we're going with the flow. Introductions never come natural to me. It's just it sounds forced. So hi, today we're going to be looking at should you stay or should you go. We're going to be looking at both perspectives, as in what would happen if you chose to stay and what would happen if you chose to leave, and also some sort of advice, I would say. Of course, it's totally up to you and totally up to your own judgment and free will, but we're going to be looking at both options, whether you're currently in separation, or you've been separated and you're kind of like waiting around, or you having some complications along your journey with this person. It doesn't really matter. It goes for everybody, and this is timeless. Doesn't really matter when you are watching this, and you can look for different people. Does that make sense? Okay, so we don't have cards on our table, we have symbols. So this is our first symbol, which corresponds to the first group. This is our second symbol, which corresponds to the second group. And this is the third symbol, which corresponds to the third group. Pick whichever you find that is calling to you, okay? Use your intuition, and I will see you in your respective reading. Well, group number one, I just, let's just say that I dropped all my cards. I dropped them all for you, so it seems like you're perhaps going through some difficulties and you're kind of like just fucking done. Alright. This is just my speculation. I haven't checked in with the energies, but it's funny how I just dropped half my deck. But I'm seeing like, how can I explain this? One foot in front of the other, and it seems like you're ready to leave, but also ready to stay, if it's worth your while, you know what I mean? So let's look at, should you stay or should you go? Alright, what would happen if, or what would pile one get if they chose to stay? What would pile one get if they chose to stay? Okay, we have King of Swords, which is Ace of Swords, the High Priestess reversed, one more, two more, Two of Cups, and Six of Swords. What would happen if they chose to leave? It seems like you're more inclined to leave either way, because we got Six of Swords, Six of Wands. What happened if they chose to leave? Wheel of Fortune reverse. One more, please. One, Page of Cups. Okay. So it seems like you're more inclined to leave either way. Let me check. Sorry, this is not straight at all. At all by any means. But here we go. Alright, bottom of the deck we have Knight of Swords. It seems like you're more inclined to leave either way. But if you chose to stay, it seems like you would get a lot more clarity, and perhaps you wouldn't be as confused with what was going on, perhaps their motives or anything like that. But it seems like it's more of a, what is it called? This mental maturity where you would be more in touch with your boundaries. That's what I'm sensing. You would have a lot more clarity on which mental boundaries you need or you need to establish. But also, if you chose to stay, you would have hope for something more, perhaps a healthier relationship with this person, or a more emotional connection where they perhaps are either not ready or not capable of giving that to you in the High Priestess reversed. Being in the middle of this is kind of like you, at a certain point, you may be ignoring your intuition to leave because you want clarity, but you're also waiting on something that is not going to happen. And this could be this emotional connection that you want with this person, or this emotional understanding, or this forgiveness. It goes both ways, you know what I mean? And it seems like when you realize what you need with the King of Swords, the King of Swords isn't here to play around. Like, this person is assertive. They know their truth, and it seems like what you need to realize in this connection is your own truth, your boundaries, and it's kind of like your validation. It seems like I'm looking for a connection that is emotional, but you're not giving this to me, and this is what I need. Therefore, if you're unable to provide this thing, I'm not saying that you want to imply a romantic relationship with this person, but you at least want to have some sort of mental and emotional connection with somebody, and it seems like this person is giving you one or the other. It seems like overall it's just not enough. So it seems like whenever you understand this is when you perhaps are moving on, or at least moving to another person, whenever you reach this level of assertiveness or level of realization. This is if you choose to stay. If you choose to leave, perhaps you would be realizing this need on your own because of the Hermit and the Two of Swords. It seems like you would be getting there either way because of the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a card of success, public recognition, and it seems like you would be going in that direction either way, whether or not you were in contact or not with this person, or in this sort of energy, I mean, because some of you may not be in contact with this person anymore, and you're just kind of like waiting around in this energy, a little bit uncertain, because of the Two of Swords. This is a card of confusion, mental unclarity, and you're just kind of like lingering in that decision. And you may even doubt your own decision to leave. It's not going to be an easy choice, but it's gonna get to where you want to be either way. It's just not going to be right in your face, you know what I mean? You would have to reflect a lot with the Hermit, and perhaps spend a lot more time alone with yourself, with your thoughts, perhaps journaling it out so you can understand the motives of your decisions. It wouldn't be easy to reach this level. Okay, I must be honest, you would be kind of like in this roller coaster of doubt and certainty. With the Wheel of Fortune reverse, this is kind of like you're in the other side of the wheel where things are a little bit more unclear, and you're having a little bit of trouble to understand the point of all of this, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, you would, with the Page of Cups, if you chose to leave, it seems like you would be opening doors to meet other people with the Page, and also be a bit more I'm seeing flexible, there we go, a bit more flexible with other people, because with this person it seems like you're a bit more rigid and not necessarily flexible, or it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like you either give this to me or I'm leaving. And in here you would be a little bit more, again, flexible. You wouldn't be so, you either give or I'm out, you know what I mean? You would be more understanding because you're realizing this on your own, and you wouldn't be moldable or molded by this person's perspective or intentions or actions, you know what I mean? So you would be reaching this kind of energy with the King of Swords, but it wouldn't be as rigid. You would be getting there on your own at your own pace. You would perhaps be more in touch with yourself, and it's just kind of like in your own pace. It seems like in here it's just more objective, and if you choose to leave, it would be more in your own pace, a lot more steps in order to reach that level, you know what I mean? But also being in touch with your emotions. You would perhaps be a bit more, you would find creative ways to reach that level instead of being more objective. There you go. This is what I was wanting to say. But you would reach that level anyway, you know what I mean? So you either take the more objective way, or you do it in your own pace, but a little bit more flexible in that sense, you know what I mean? So what is general advice? Five of Pentacles. What is the general advice for pile number 1? Seven of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, and more. And the Emperor. So the general advice is, again, you would be getting there in either way, okay? But it seems like you're just, the general advice for you. With the Five of Pentacles, this is, for me, the Five of Pentacles is all about loneliness, right? It's not just about material loss. So if this is about a boss or a co-worker or something like that, and we got the Five of Pentacles, this perhaps would mean that perhaps changing jobs or changing positions would perhaps mean that you would be losing financially. Or if you're living with this person in the same house and you have a family, perhaps the Five of Pentacles would mean that you would perhaps need to move, and therefore you would lose financially. You would have to cut your losses, and perhaps you would be struggling financially, okay? And it seems like it's really up to you, because you're gonna, whether or not you want a more objective way to get there, or take your time to get there. But perhaps staying would mean that you would be standing up to yourself. With the Seven of Wands, you would have to be more persistent. You would have to stay in that sort of energy a little longer, and perhaps that would lead you to exhaustion. The Seven of Wands. Like, it's, what I'm sensing is basically that it's really up to your own judgment But please pay attention to the red flags with the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords is a card of mental struggle. It's kind of like you were not seeing what's coming, or you're not seeing what's around you, or you feel like you're stuck in this situation, but in reality it's just how you perceive the situation. You know what I mean? If you take the blindfold off, you're going to be seeing a sword right in front of you, and you're going to be able to cut your losses. So whether or not you stay in that sort of energy or connection, you're going to be reaching to the point where you want to be. It's just going to perhaps be a little bit harder for you. Because in here, like I said, it's a more objective way. But again, you would be perhaps ignoring your own judgment and your own intuition. And you would be leaving anyway with the Six of Swords. But you would get there. Now, if you chose to leave, you would be a little bit more confused. Perhaps spending a lot more time alone reflecting. But you would get there either way with the Six of Wands. It wouldn't be easy to get there, like I said. But you would have a lot more options with the Page. So, if you want to leave, then please be aware that it's not going to be easy mentally and materially speaking. Yeah. That is basically it, really. There's really nothing much I can add to this. What's the bottom card? We got the Lovers. So this is perhaps a person, a significant other, like a person that is really close to you. And things you've had a falling out, or you've been arguing a lot, or you're just kind of like on the brink of breaking up. I would say that most of you are going to end up leaving anyway. But perhaps the financial situation isn't helping, so you're just kind of like, right, I don't know, you know what I mean? Perhaps you do have a family and kids are involved, and it's just kind of like very complicated. But it seems like you're going to be leaving anyway, you know? For some of you, what I'm hearing also is that you would be ignoring your own intuition in order to make the relationship work. Because staying would get you there, okay? You would get the, the forgiveness or the relationship that you want. And things would perhaps move forward. But is it what you want? Or are you doing this for the sake of your family? Or are you doing this for the sake of money? You know what I mean? So the real question in here is it where you want to be? Is it where you actually truthfully want to be? Because with the Six of Swords, like, you're ready to cut your losses, but because of family or money situations, or your living situations, doesn't necessarily mean money, is not allowing you to, so you feel a little bit stuck in there. So the real question remains, is this where you actually want to be? Where do you see yourself in 6 months? 6 months to a year. Do you see yourself with this person? Do you see this working? Or are you doubting it? If you doubt that you want to be with this person in 6 months, then perhaps love just isn't enough. And perhaps deep down you know that your living situation could be better or could change. even if it means that you lose material things or you struggle a little bit in the beginning with money. Food for thought. Okay, so this is what I see for you, pile number 1. I really don't know how to say goodbye, but let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So let's look at both perspectives. Okay, we're going to be looking at what would you get if you chose to stay, and also what will you get if you chose to leave. Okay, and then an overall advice into what could be the best decision, or what you need to take into consideration in both decisions. Okay, pile number 2. So what would happen, or what would they get if they chose to stay? What would they get if they chose to stay? Page of Wands also. Okay. What would they get if they chose to stay? Oh, Strength. 3 of Wands. Okay. Okay. So not everything is lost. The High Priestess. Okay. What would happen if they chose to leave? Cups. What happens if they chose to leave? 3 of Cups. Reversed. 10 of Cups. The Star. I feel like you would be a little bit conflicted if you chose to leave. It seems like you believe that there's still a chance with this person, and honestly, it does seem like there is. With the 6 of Pentacles, it seems like if you chose to stay, this person could learn to be a little bit more reciprocate with you. Because the Page of Wands is not necessarily very mature. They're very exciting. They're kind of like in the moment. They're very passionate, very, you know, I wouldn't say in the moment, but they're kind of like very passionate about you. And you feel that. You feel like this connection has a lot of potential for more, and a lot more potential to evolve with the 3 of Wands. You know, and you feel this deep spiritual connection. You feel this pull towards this person, and it's undeniable. You know what I mean? This is why you've been in this energy, and that's why you're so confused, because at one point, in a certain way, you understand that this person is not very mature, but they're very passionate about you, and perhaps that's what you've been looking for, somebody to switch things up in your life. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they're not mature. Perhaps they do not stick with you for long periods of time. Perhaps they're hot and cold. But you still see and feel that this has potential for more. You know what I mean? Therefore, you've been confident. You're confident in this connection. It's kind of like you feel like you're leading. You feel like you have a purpose. You know what I mean? And you feel that it has so much more potential, and you could be going into the next stage in this connection, because you feel that they also feel this emotional and spiritual deep connection, this deep spiritual tie. So if you chose to stay, you perhaps would see this coming, but again, they don't have maturity. They're just passionate, and perhaps the hot and cold is that they're passionate about you in one point, and then the next week they go cold and they're passionate about another thing, and then the next week they back to you, you know what I mean? So this is why you're kind of like in this limbo where if you chose to stay, you would be feeling this fire energy, right? But if you choose to leave, not only you would be a little happier and a little more stable, but also you wouldn't get the closure that you are looking for. With the Three of Cups, it's kind of like you lose that spark, right? It seems like you are missing something. You feel like you're missing something. Either the stamina or the adrenaline that this person gives you with the Page, right? And it seems like you perhaps you would feel rejected in some way, or a little bit left behind because you feel this passion, right? But also you would understand that perhaps it's either not meant to be or it served their purpose. Because the Ten of Cups, the King of Cups is a person that is extremely emotionally intelligent. Like, they make decisions based on their emotions, but also based on their intellectual. So by leaving, you would be understanding your emotions, right? The good and the bad, because the good is that it served the purpose, I had fun, but also the bad is that you would perhaps feel rejected or feel left behind or feel like conflicted emotions, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't understand them, right? With the King of Cups, like, you understand that you have deep feelings for this person, but you put yourself first. Then the Star is, again, it's that I'm hearing lack of closure. It seems like you perhaps need this person to tell you that they don't want anything to do with you, otherwise you're going to be staying in this energy. But if you choose to leave, you would be cultivating a lot more than what you're cultivating with this person, because the Eight of Pentacles is a card of what is it called, god damn it, a card of putting in the work, consistency. So you would be looking for consistency instead of just a passion, right? Because passion is great, but with consistency, it has the right doses. So it's not just passion. It's not just this adrenaline that you feel. It's right doses of all of that. And it's a little bit more balanced. It's like a planned, balanced meal. Like, you, how can I say this? You put the right amounts of the right ingredients. You don't put too much of something. You know what I mean? It's the balanced meal. You don't have too much of anything and you don't have too little of anything. You know what I mean? So it seems like conflicted emotions would impact your decision, good and bad, but perhaps would be better if you chose to leave. But if you chose to stay, I'm not here to judge anybody, but if you chose to stay, it's because of how passionate you feel with this person, how good they make you feel, even though they don't have the maturity to handle proper emotions. Because we have wands all over, and this is fire energy, this is passion, intensity, so on and so forth. In creation, we don't have cups, we have cups over here. So there's no emotional capacity in here. It's just passion, intensity, perhaps even sexual energy because of the wands, because it's fire. But it wouldn't go beyond that. Instead, with leaving, you would have the opportunity to invest in invest and work on the relationships that are right for you emotionally. But there's nothing wrong if you choose to stay, right? Because things can change. I honestly don't sense any changes because of the page. But, you know, free will is a thing and people can change. But as of right now, if you choose to stay or leave, it's really up to you. We have the Hanged Man as your bottom card, and it seems like perhaps you need to see things from a different perspective. But really, it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose to leave or to stay. If you're looking for a more passionate stage of your life where you're just looking for that sort of thing, and not really something serious, if it's just for fun, if it's just a friend, or if it's just something that, you know, that is right for the moment, then go ahead and stay. But just to let you know that it's not going to be more than that. They don't have the emotional maturity to be more than that. We got the Five of Swords along with the Seven of Cups. One more card, and this is your advice. Two of Swords. Yeah, it definitely seems like you are conflicted. And again, the Hanged Man in your bottom card. So it seems like there's a need for reflection and a need to see things from a different perspective, because you're not seeing things as they are with the Two of Swords. You're a little bit confused because at one point, on one side, you want the passion because it makes you feel alive. But at another point, they don't have the emotional maturity to understand you, so you feel a little bit left behind. So, your overall advice is, I mean, with the Five of Swords and the Seven of Cups, know that they have more options. They have their options open, and perhaps putting all your eggs in one basket, in their basket, wouldn't be advised, because you're going to end up getting hurt, really, really hurt. Perhaps you have this hope that they can commit to you, or that they can, like their feelings can evolve to something more, but in reality you won't. And putting all your eggs in one basket wouldn't be smart, because they do not. They're not the one to commit, you know what I mean? So it seems like you need to see things as they are. And right now things are not easy. Right now things aren't easy to see, or perhaps you're unaware of your surroundings and you need to kind of like make a decision with the Two of Swords. But because you're confused, you can't, or you're choosing not to because you want all the facts, or you want the closure, or you want a sign. If you're looking for a sign, then perhaps this is a sign. But it's just kind of like, it's really up to your own judgment. But know for sure that they're not committing. They don't have the emotional capacity, and they for sure do not have all their eggs on your basket. You're going to end up hurt. So if you want to avoid getting hurt, then perhaps you need to make a decision. But if you're okay with getting hurt, or if you really want to be in this sort of energy where there's just passion, you know, this is what you're looking for, then that's fine. It seems like perhaps you are already aware that you're gonna get a little bit disappointed, and you know that they have their options open, you know what I mean? So it goes both ways. But yeah, really it's up to you whether or not you want to stay in this connection and in this sort of energy. That's fine. Or you are looking for something more, which it seems like the majority of you are. So it seems like the answer is, it's up to your own judgment, but it seems like you're good to leave if you're looking for more. If not, then you're good to stay. It's either way, you know what I mean? So I'm not the one that is going to tell you what is best for you. You are the one that knows your own circumstances. I'm never gonna tell you if you should do something or should do another thing or the opposite, you know what I mean? You have your own free will and your own judgment. I'm here to give you options, right? So these are your options. The decision is totally up to you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already to not miss out on any videos like this one. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hello group number 3, welcome to your reading. So let's see if you should quote unquote stay or if you should go. I'm gonna give you both options. If you what are you gonna get, or what would happen if you chose to stay, and also what would happen if you chose to go. And the overall advice, I must tell you as a disclaimer that it is totally up to your own free will and totally up to your own judgment. I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to your life or your decisions. I'm just here to tell you both pictures and the overall advice. The ultimate decision is up to you. So we're going to be looking at those aspects today. Just sit tight, relax. And let's get to it. Alright, so what would happen if group number 3 chose to stay with their person of interest? 5 of Swords. We have some jumpers today. The Hanged Man. And what happened if they chose to stay? We also have the Chariot. Remember they chose to stay. We have the 4 of Pentacles. One more. And the Lovers. Okay. What would happen if they chose to leave? We got the 9 of Swords. This is a similar energy from the group number 2, I would say. Very similar. We also got the 3 of Cups in the group number 2, so if you've been, and the 8 of Swords, I think. So if you were a little bit confused or unsure which one to pick, and if you choose this one, I must tell you that group number 2 is perhaps a little bit similar to this in the Tower. So it seems like bottom of the deck is the 4 of Swords. So it seems like if you chose to stay, it seems like not everything is lost in this relationship. It seems like it's just like group number 2. Not everything is lost in this relationship, and it seems like if you chose to stay, things could work out. It seems like trust has been broken. You have been really hurt, and I feel like it wasn't just you. I feel like it was the both of you. And perhaps you're in temporary separation right now with the Hanged Man. Things are just kind of like left on a certain uncertainty, I would say, where it's not moving forward, it's not moving backwards, it's just kind of like in this limbo. But it seems like with the Chariot, this is just temporary, because the Chariot is like literal movement forward. It's all about this willpower, and it's movement forward, it's determination. So it seems like you would be moving forward with determination, even though perhaps that this person or you are a little bit guarded when it comes to trust and when it comes to their own possessions, when it comes to their own personal space perhaps, and it's just not easy. Okay, they may be a little bit resistant to that, or you may be resistant, I mean, to opening up or something like that, because the Four of Pentacles is a card of keeping in, savings, you know, saving your space, being really, really protective of, you know, your energy, your possessions, your time, your resources. So it seems like there could be some resistance, but then we got the Lovers, and this is a card of harmony, deep love, deep connection, forgiveness. And it's kind of telling me that if you choose to stay, things could work out, but there would be a lot of resistance because of what happened between you two that really, really hurt one another, and things are just kind of like left in a loop. So it seems like with time, and perhaps some sacrifices when it comes to your connection with this person, perhaps the way that you speak to one another or the way that you view one another, it seems like both of you need to kind of like make some sacrifices for each other, because you can't always meet eye to eye. You are two different people. Like you will not have the same opinions about certain things. You are learning to love one another. You are learning to just kind of like every day, even if you've been together for 4 years. I'm not really sure why I said 4 years, but even if you've been together for 4 years, or how much time you've been together, it's a constant learning curve where you're learning to communicate with another human being. This person isn't you, you know what I mean? And even then, you're still learning to who you are, you know. So you're always learning and receiving all these informations and making choices accordingly. So it seems like in order for this to work, if you choose to stay, sacrifices are in place, and both of you need to do that. Otherwise, if it's just you, it can be a little bit more painful. Okay, so, and keep in mind, this person or you could be resistant to that. All right, so let's go check, let's see what could happen if you chose to leave. Okay, we got the Nine of Swords. It seems like things are left unsaid or undone. The Nine of Swords is all about night terrors, doubts, fears that come into play, that they like, it's just too much to handle. And it seems like perhaps it's the guilt or something that makes you regret doing so, or keeps you from closing that chapter because you know that this could work. Again, it's very similar to pile number 2. Then we got the Six of Wands, and this is all about success, your goals, and overall victory. And it seems like conflicting energies once more with pile number 3. It's kind of like you would be pursuing your goals, you would be doing what you're passionate about, because perhaps because of this energy that is kind of looming, you're unsure, you kind of like put it on pause perhaps, and it's also a little bit unsure in your life, and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So it seems like if you chose to leave, at one point you would be pursuing what makes you passionate, and you would be, you know, perhaps getting more attention on social media, because the Six of Wands is a card of public recognition, right? You'd get a lot more attention, but it wouldn't fulfill your cup, because it seems like these people are not to be trusted, the ones that would be reaching out to you. Then we got the Eight of Swords. You would be in a position where it was very uncomfortable, because perhaps these people that would be reaching out to you were perhaps a third party influencing this connection with this person, and they would be kind of like telling you lies or blindsiding you. There's a lot of third-party interference in here, which would make your fears and doubts and anxieties worsen up, leading you to the Tower moment. And the Tower moment is perhaps a culmination of your circle of friends, where you no longer identify with these people, and perhaps you end up literally creating drama so you can walk away. You know what I mean? So it seems like perhaps there's a third party interfering with your connection, and by going away it would worsen up. So it seems like at one point there are sacrifices that need to happen in order for it to work. All right, it wouldn't be easy, it would be very challenging, but you would be moving forward with certainty that it would work. Although it needs to be a two-way street. If it's not a two-way street, then it's not gonna work. But then if you chose to walk away, these people that are interfering with your relationship would be revealed to you, and you wouldn't have a garden with bad apples, basically. So it seems like it's both beneficial, but as of right now you are in this sort of uncertainty energy where you're not sure. You already feel, some of you already feel who these people are, or you already have this inner knowing that there's something going on. This is being interfered by other people or by other circumstances, but it definitely feels like it's a group of people, perhaps a group of friends, perhaps their family or your family, but it seems like it's a group of people. There's multiple energies in here. So let's look at your overall advice. Okay, ultimately it's your decision. Three of Swords. Okay, let me just say, ultimately it's your decision. Okay. Hierophant, higher knowledge, Seven of Wands, and what else? What else do you got for me? Queen of Swords. Okay. So it's ultimately up to your own judgment, like the Queen of Swords is saying. Like, you need to assess your options, and it seems like it can't come from the heart. You need to see objectively if it is worth pursuing, if it is worth trying again, which the energies are telling you that it is worth pursuing furthermore, but there's a need for sacrifice, and it needs to be a two-way street. You need to assess whether or not you or this person are willing to make this a two-way street and not just a single-way street. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, with the Three of Swords, it seems though that you're gonna get disappointed either way. This is a heads up. I wouldn't say disappointed, but it's gonna hurt. It's going to be challenging. It's going to trigger you, both situations, because if you choose to stay, because of this uncertainty is already hurting you, but because of their resistance or your resistance, it's going to trigger and it's going to hurt you. But also remember that the bad thoughts that you tell yourself and the bad words that you tell yourself, this is just your thoughts. It doesn't necessarily reflect your reality. So if you've been hard on yourself, you're speaking badly about yourself, then that's going to reflect outwards. Okay, then we got the Hierophant, and this is higher knowledge. This is spiritual wisdom. Therefore, you need to look at it objectively and also check in with yourself. You're aware, are you aware, or are you certain that this person is going to retribute your sacrifices? Is this going to be a two-way street? Like this figure has I would say like a 2 up. I would say like a peace sign, but it's not a peace sign, but you get the meaning. Like two-way street, it's not just one, it's two. All right. And I've never seen this figure, I've never noticed this figure doing like the 2 or the peace sign. It's not a peace sign, but you get what I mean. I've never like realized or noticed that before. So this is a message, like 2 people make the relationship. You need to assess your reality and then fight hard. With the 7 of Wands, you need perhaps to not just fight hard for this relationship to work, and I feel like it is worth it, but because of the resistance, it is challenging. But however, the 7 of Wands is a card of resistance. It's a card of trying. It's a card of standing up to your needs, standing up to what you envision, standing up, like showing them that it is worth it with your actions. You can't just make them see what they don't want to see. That's the reality. And you can't make them you can't force them to not resist, okay? But you may want to show them with your actions, with your passion, and perhaps actually standing up for your relationship overall because of these people. Perhaps it's their family that don't support, or it's their friends that are against you, or something like this, because you've been pretty hurt in the past by one another, you know what I mean? So or your friends or your family, you know what I mean? It's like it goes both ways basically, because this is a general reading. I can't really pinpoint. It goes both ways. It's either your family or his family, or their family, sorry, or your friends and their friends, or something like that. So there's a third party interfering in here because both of you have been hurt by one another, and perhaps they don't support your decision if you chose to do that, and they're gonna spill out a bunch of bullshit about them and so on. So it seems like either way you're gonna need to stand up to yourself and set stronger boundaries as well. Like it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of perseverance, but I'm telling you, like it seems like if this person does stop resisting, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be harmonious, but they need to stop resisting, and it needs to be a two-way street, okay? Keep that in mind and make that decision accordingly. So this is what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching thus far. Let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos like this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.